Hey guys, it's the Gamer Channel here, and I'm back, I guess. But it's not really a ranking video, it's just a reaction. To Ridley being Ridley being number 65 in the top 100 and Jared being 54. Let's start off with the one that I don't really care about too much. I mean, I care about, of course, it's one of the Falcons being in the top 100, but it's not that crazy or anything. Jared, 52 tackles, 4 sacks, 4 tackles for loss. He's so consistent as a defensive tackle. And they also talk about how he's comparable. I'm not comparable to anyone, but they say like right up there, which seems very extreme. But it's not like there's not many other interior defensive linemen that are better than Great Jarrett. So makes sense. But what really got me mad was Calvin Ridley being only 65. Now there was just a bunch of other position players in front of Calvin Ridley, that would be fine. But no, after that, there was 4 receivers that shouldn't be better than him. But let's start with Mike Evans, who isn't here. He's just better. He did better. He had 4 more touchdowns, like 300 less yards, which I guess is fine if you want to rate Mike Evans higher. But I think this is definitely just ranking them off of their entire careers. It's like a combination of that and how good they get this year, because Justin Herbert is on the list, which he definitely wouldn't be if, it was based on careers alone. But, alright, so let's start with the person that's right in front of him, A.J. Brown. Okay, let's start with really stats now, actually. 90 receptions, 1,374 yards, and 9 TDs. A.J. Brown had 20 less receptions, 300 less yards, and 2 more touchdowns. Are you saying that A.J. Brown's better? Double-digit touchdowns are rated way too highly, I think, in the NFL. Because Ridley, first of all, caught the ball a lot more, 300 more yards. And unlike Mike Evans, who literally had 4 more touchdowns, A.J. Brown only had 2. Really does better in 2 categories, while A.J. Brown only does better in 1. But let's just go next to Keaton Allen. Let's go with Justin Jefferson, because that's mild. Jefferson had 2 less receptions, maybe like 30 more yards, and 2 less touchdowns. Really. 2 less receptions, 26 more yards, and 2 less touchdowns. And you rate him higher than Calvin Ridley. That's the thing. People are so astonished because Justin Jefferson was a rookie last year. They're just like, alright, let's rate him really high. Is this based off of how good they did? Or how fast they were good? Like, there's so much weird criteria. It's because players are voting. And then going into that player this year, there's a lower chance they will rate him high. And really, there needs to be something. I mean, I like seeing players vote. But maybe there should be 2. One is player voting, the other is literal, analysts voting. Because, well, the list just doesn't make sense. And finally, we have Keaton Allen. 100 receptions, 10 more than Ridley. 400 less yards and 1 less touchdown. Everyone I've stated so far is better than him. But because he's a veteran, he's been doing very consistent throughout his entire career, he's better than all of these, except for Justin Jefferson. No, that's not true. And also, I know I said that Ridley was also better than these other 2 because of the receptions, but Allen has 10 more receptions. And all his stats are worse than the other receivers besides Justin Jefferson, who had 400 more yards than him. There's no way that Keaton Allen's better. And you might be thinking, well, it's not all about stats, but really, it has to be, because if it's not about stats, players let's say you went against a person. Let's say you're a cornerback. And this receiver, let's say Hunter Renfrow, gets 100 yards on you. And then there's a better receiver, Jarvis Landry, that you didn't go against that year. I'm not saying that they didn't go. I'm not saying corner didn't go against this receiver, because I didn't even name the corner. But then they would vote Hunter Renfrow over Jarvis, because when I went against Hunter Renfrow got 100 yards on me. Or let's say Jarvis Landry only got 50 yards against that corner. And then they write Hunter Renfrow over Jarvis Landry. See what I mean? This is why analysts need to vote. But at the same time, analysts can be biased. But players have a hard chance to be biased because, well, they know who they play. They're mostly going to look at the players that they played against or play against in the past. And then, but analysts, they analyze the game. They look at each player and look at their highlights and stats, so they know what they're doing. So, but when you put all three of these players who did not do better than Calvin Ridley, in my opinion, over Calvin Ridley, you know that it's just not that good. The rankings are just not that good. And also, they rated Christian McCaffrey 44, even though he literally powered like 200 something yards and 5 touchdowns because he was hurt. So it's definitely based off of careers. But at the same time, Justin Herbert's higher than. Well, let me check out this list. Because I'm pretty sure we saw Justin Herbert. If I'm not, then I'm just wrong. But, oh yeah, also, James Robinson's number 100. Guess what? That was his rookie year. So, it's not telling you what it's based off of. Kyle Juszczyk, Cole Beasley, Tre'Davious White, Jarvis Landry, TJ Hawkinson. Oh yeah, we already found a contradiction. Because if it's based off how good they did this year, then it makes no sense why Calvin Ridley's worse than all these players. If it's based off of careers, then there's no way Jarvis Landry is way lower than TJ Hawkinson. Jason Kelsey, Corey Davis, another contradiction. Corey Davis has been average his whole career, just a little, not a little bit better this year, but he did better this year, and then, boom, he's apparently really good. But I can't find the others. I wish I could find it. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about someone, Matt Ryan. Last year he didn't make the list. You know who did? Lamar Jackson. If you're thinking, how are you comparing someone that was number 1 in the league last year in the top 100 and someone that wasn't even on the list? Well, Matt Ryan, as you probably know, has, and maybe not, but he has, I think, 10 years of 4,000 yards straight. Well, let me look at Lamar Jackson's stats. You could say Lamar Jackson more explosive. That doesn't overlap with Matt Ryan's longer and more efficient career. And then we can even change it up. Lamar and Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's entire career is definitely better than what's it? What was I thinking? What was I talking about? Russell Wilson's entire career is way better than Lamar Jackson's. And also, now I think about it, Lamar Jackson did a lot worse this year. Wait, what? Whoa. Lamar sucked in passing. Lamar Jackson running stats. Alright, I'm sorry, I'm trying to look for stats and stuff. But Lamar, what I'm trying to say is that the top 100 is inconsistent, and players like Calvin Ridley prove it. It just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't matter. But I know Lamar. Look, Lamar had way less yards than Matt Ryan, like 13,000 less. Same touchdowns, less picks. So what's just going to be way higher is because of rushing. But since Matt Ryan didn't do that much worse, besides interceptions and rushing yards and pass rating, which doesn't matter too much, Matt Ryan should be in the top 100. But guess what? We're down to 40 players left, and I'm telling you, Matt Ryan isn't in the top 40. And that's just how the league works. Explosiveness. That's what people love. They love the flashy players because Lamar in his first two starting seasons threw a combined 5,000 yards. Of course, are supposed to average 32,000 a year. He's averaging, not 32,000, 3,200. He's averaging like 2,900. Which I'm not going to rant about Lamar because his running game is just so much better, that good. But it's just, what I'm trying to say is, Ridley should not be rated this low. Keaton Allen the thing is that Keaton Allen is consistent, which makes you think it's rated based off of how good they did in entire career. But then Justin Jefferson, his rookie year, did really good. Oh, he's rating Keaton Allen. It's because players. It's not even their fault. It's just that their entire rankings are based off of players. So, of course, there's going to be some really weird inconsistencies, like Lamar Jackson with 3,000 yards and 36 touchdowns being the number one player, even though really, let's look at some quarterback stats for that year. Aaron Rodgers. 4,026 touchdowns, 4 picks. Now, you can make an argument that he did better than Lamar last year. Patrick Mahomes. Let's see how he did 2019. 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Alright, 36 touchdowns I know is insane. He probably did really good in rushing. But 3,100 yards? And it's just so inefficient to me. And then also, we already know who's going to be rated number one this year. Aaron Rodgers. He went insane. 4,200 yards, almost 3,000. 4,300. Basically 4,300. 48 touchdowns, 5 picks. Now you know everyone's going to vote him as number one. Even though I can make a pretty good argument that Derrick Henry did better. And the only reason people are even saying like Christian McCaffrey is better than Derrick Henry, which I think that Derrick Henry is better. Okay, I'm kind of leading on to different topics, so I might not even name this title about reacting to Christian McCaffrey, Calvin Ridley, and Gray J like I was going to, but, well. Okay, do you guys see what I'm trying to say, though? Okay, so let's look at Derrick Henry's stats, if you can. 2,027 yards and 17 touchdowns. And last year, 1,540 yards, 16 touchdowns. I'm assuming Christian McCaffrey did better last year. I'm hoping he did. Because, I don't know, he should have. You know what? No! Actually, the only reason he's above Derrick Henry is because of his two-way. I'm not really two-way, but we're not about to talk about Kawhi Leonard. His yards between both. But when you think about it, Derrick Henry's stats this year. This year are better. And I'll make that argument. Because Derrick Henry had 2,000 yards just rushing, which I think is better than 1,000 and 1,000. And 17 touchdowns is more than Christian McCaffrey a year ago, and still had 114 yards. So, the reason that people think Christian McCaffrey is better than Derrick Henry, because he's good receiving and rushing, even though, let's look at Alvin Kamara, because I think Christian is better than Alvin Kamara, but I just want to see his, because I know he had a 4-touchdown game or something. He had a 6-touchdown game. This year he had 900 and 756, 21 touchdowns in total. Very good. Yep. So when you think about that, and people are saying that Christian, actually, now that I'm looking at stuff, Kamara this year is actually comparable to Christian McCaffrey. But you know people are going to vote Christian McCaffrey because, well, everyone loves Christian McCaffrey. Even though Derrick Henry's better. Just like, even though Matt Ryan is very good because he's not explosive, because he can't run and pass, because he's not throwing no looks every other second, he's not going to be in the top 100. Maybe until his career ends, unless he wins like MVP or goes insane. Because if you're an averagely good quarterback, you're going to be rated lower than a fullback. Which I think is a great note to end off of, because it's just sad, but it's always well because Ridley is rated dumb low and Matt Ryan isn't even on the list. But all I have to say is, if you enjoyed the video, you should like it, because, well, who's me that should keep making videos and it's just me ranting about the top 100, even though millions of people probably already have. I mean, not millions. Like, a lot of people, maybe even 1 million people, probably just dislike the way that the top 100 is. Which I'm not saying the players' fault, because they're told to do this. They're asked to go out and think which players are the best. But if you want, let's say you went against the Chiefs twice, and it's all Patrick Mahomes. Maybe you got 3 touchdowns against you twice. You didn't go against Aaron Rodgers. Maybe in your league, because of how explosive Patrick Mahomes was against you, if you've never seen Aaron Rodgers' stats or anything, you would think Patrick Mahomes is better. But here's some things for you to think about. This is SVT, aka Personnel.